Nu starter anden del af samtalen med badmintonspilleren Mads Christophersen. I denne episode får du 3 gode tips til, hvordan du kan blive mentalt stærkere. Og Mads giver et godt råd til sit yngre jeg, og så skal du også høre, hvordan han forbereder sig til kampe, og hvordan han håndterer modgang. God fornøjelse. Well, Mads, when I first met you 10, 12, 13 years ago, you seemed to me to be pretty strong. And when I saw you and Jeppe, I remember that you're in the doubles, there was so much energy and I could look in your eyes. There was so much fire. Yes, we want to win the last rally in these matches.
Mm.
How have you developed? Have you always been mentally strong, or has there been some people inspiring you, or how has that been?
I think that because of my family, we have always been quite competitive.
Mm.
And I felt that I also think I have been quite, how can you say, lucky somehow with my friends and how I started at badminton. Because when I started when I was 7, I already knew how to play because I played on vacation and with my cousins and stuff.
Yeah.
So I could beat some of the older guys who was already practicing at that practice.
Yeah.
And had done it for a while. So I came out kind of nowhere and beat those guys.
Mm.
So I also felt that, and it was the first time where I had been playing a team sport, because I played soccer or football before. And it was the first time where I was in there alone. And I got this success when I started. And then I just felt that, okay, I'm good at this, and it's quite nice to feel I'm really good at it. And it was maybe the first time I felt that I was really good at it. But I remember when I played team sports that I had that fire that I wanted to win. And when the teammates didn't have that fire, I got really annoyed. And that was also a really nice thing for me when I then started to play badminton. Because I was there in alone. I was the only one I could blame for losing. And that was really a freedom for me, actually.
Yeah.
But I would also say that now you mentioned Jeppe. Me and Jeppe, we had a really good partnership, and I think we played together from under 13 to under 19 or something like that.
Mm.
And I couldn't wish for a better partner. I know we were not the best, but we still had so many great matches, and I still remember a lot of them. And we both had that will to win, and we just complementing each other really well in that way, and that was why it was working so good with Jeppe. And I didn't. That's also why I didn't play any men's doubles in senior. I didn't find a partner because I didn't want another partner than Jeppe, because it has been quite special for me.
Yeah.
Also, I have played with a lot in my team matches in my clubs and stuff, but it's not something I choose myself. It's the club who's choosing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say that because of, I think it has been very natural for me always to have that will to win. So it has the fire you saw in my eyes. I think I have always had that, because I felt that I had when I was moving, when I was a child, when I was running or something like that, I was always one of the best runners. Or if you had to throw a ball or a stone as far as you could, I was also one of the best. So I felt that was my habitat. That was where I was performing, and that was my habitat. So I wanted to take good care of that, and that's also why I had that will and fire to win.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. How is it today when you because you mentioned, yeah, I'm good at this. I can win this one. I can take this one home. And before, when you go into a match and there are three scenarios, in which situation do you have the best feeling or the best level of arousal before a match? Is that when you are favorite, or is it when you are the underdog? Or is it when, if we look at the ranking, there's a 50-50% chances of you winning or me winning? When do you have the best level of arousal or the best mental state before a match?
It's a good question. For 2 years ago, I would have said, immediately, I would have said that the underdog was suiting me best.
Mm.
And so, in some ways, it still does. But I also like to be the favorite sometimes. And actually, I don't have a problem being the underdog or the favorite now, because when I talked with my mental coach Anders, we talked about that I wanted to be like really high on the ranking, but we also talked about that I like to be an underdog. And then he said that, but then why do you want to climb the ranking? Then you just get favorite more and more and more, and then
Yeah.
you're not underdog as much. And then I said, well, that's true. I have never thought about that actually. And then I started to change my perspective about being a favorite, but because he said like, why is he a favorite? Because and then I tried to say that he's better than me and something like with the ranking, and then he said like, it's something human beings have made up. I'm sorry to say, but when you walk in there, everybody has a chance. There is no favorite. And then I started to also use that, and now I'm just doing the same if I'm playing against a better opponent. Now I'm doing quotes because my mental
Yes.
coach wants me
Yes.
or if I'm the favorite. So I try to come up with a plan what I should do in certain situations, and then I try to follow that. And then I also know which I should change if it's not working. And it's no matter who I'm playing against. It's I prepare the same way, but I will say that it's still easier to be underdog because you don't feel the same kind of pressure. You are a little bit free to lose. So I understand why people likes to be more underdog than favorite, but for me, I have been trying to rewire my brain so
Yeah.
it's not that big of a difference.
Yeah. I really like your story here, your change in your mindset regarding this, because and especially people around you can come to you and say, "Oh, Mads, you're the favorite in this match. Of course, you get an easy win," or "Oh, that's a tough one you're gonna meet there." And I think many times, because when I also talk to players and when I coach them, say, "You feel pressure?" Yes. And where does that come from? Did you receive an email? 100,000 people has signed on. We expect you to win, or is it something created in your mind? So I like that. Stay in the present, or
Yeah.
what is my game plan for the next 2-3 rallies? That's really good. Thank you for that.
Welcome.
Mads, if we now you get the chance of giving persons who are listening, it could be badminton players or someone else. You told me your fiance is very talented basketball player, so it could be anything. But we have one of our listeners who would like to become mentally stronger, and you are now given the chance to give them 3 pieces of advice. How would that?
I feel that I have had so many good advices from my mental coach these past years, so I will try to find the best ones.
Yeah.
But I will say that one of the biggest things for me, and it's also working in your everyday life, because I was worrying a lot when I was younger, and also just a couple of years ago. But I also read that it was only like I don't know if it was 10% of all the thoughts you're thinking and worrying about that is actually happening. So you're wasting your energy thinking about all kind of stuff that is not happening. And what made me more relaxed and more present was that to practice this with meditation, that try to sit down maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day, and then you just try to focus on your inhale and exhale, and then you do that for 5 to 10 minutes, and then every time you get a thought, then you try to detect it, and then you okay, now I'm not thinking about the breathing anymore, and then you go back to the breathing.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you can start to use it in a really good way. So when you get a bad thought, or maybe you're worrying of something, then you can detect it easier because you have learned your brain while you have meditated that, okay, this is just a thought I have now. Now I have to be more present or something like that. So you get easier to detect those kind of thoughts.
Yeah.
So that would be a advice for me. And then another one would be that try to focus on what you can actually do something about instead of focusing so much about what you cannot do anything about.
Yeah.
Because that's also I have had a lot of problems with that, thinking about like, I don't know, now it just seems stupid if I come up with something, but in that moment it was so annoying, and it made me so frustrated or something like that, and I couldn't do anything about it anyway, so why use your energy on it? That would be my second advice.
Yeah.
And the third one would be that I think that I have read a lot of good books which can help you like in a mental way, and so I think that reading books would be my third advice.
Yeah.
And then people can write me on Instagram, or if they want, then I can send them some book recommendations. But I'm I'm reading a book right now about breathing through your nose. It's called Breathe, and it has already helped me with my nose breathing because it has been blocked for a lot of years. But now I have tried to sleep with some nose strips for 2 weeks, and now I can breathe normally through my nose.
That's great.
And I sleep a lot better because of that. So I try to find some books which are like can help me some way, and of course you find some books that is not working in that way, but then you just find another one, and then you find something good. It has helped me a lot, and Atomic Habits is also one of my favorite books.
Yes.
Which is helping you with your if you want to get a good habit, or if you want to break a bad habit.
Yeah.
That book, I really recommend you to read it if you want to learn about how you are implementing a new one, or getting rid of a bad one.
Bad habit, yeah.
And I can come up with a lot of good.
That's good. But I can also recommend Atomic Habits or Atomvaner på dansk. That's good. 3 good advices. Mads, now we're at a competition day, and I would like you to share with the listeners how is your routine? How do you prepare for a match? So that's one thing on match day, and also during a match. If you could share with us the second question, how do you handle this adversity when the opponent is making a hard time for you? How do you pass these obstacles? So if you could share this with us, your preparation on match day.
Yeah, well, it's not. There is a lot of athletes who are really superstitious. I think that's the word. And I have learned that that's not something I like, because then if something is not going in the right way, then it's ruining I think that some athletes are talking about that, and it seems like that one thing can ruin their whole preparation. And I took that as a no-go for me for some years ago. So I try to be a bit loose, because I know that is just something up in my head who's telling me that, oh no, you didn't do this kind of stretch before you normally do that. But in the end, for me, I know that that's not why I'm losing or winning.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty relaxed when I'm preparing. I just do whatever I feel like. Normally, I eat a lot of breakfast. I try to eat a lot, because I use a lot of energy when I'm practicing or playing tournaments. And then I sometimes, before the breakfast or after the breakfast, it's depending on which time my match is, but then I try to do some exercises, some light footwork, maybe cycle for 10 minutes without any restriction.
Resistance.
Resistance. And then I stretch maybe a little bit. So I have had the body going for a little 20 minutes or something like that. Not hard at all, but just a little bit. And then I maybe eat a snack, or maybe I have lunch. It depends on what time the match is. And then I go to the hall around 1.5 hours before, 1 hour and 40 minutes before. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky in badminton, because it can go a little bit longer than you expect, or faster. But then I just start to watch some matches while I'm there waiting, and then 1 hour before, kind of thing. Then I start to stretch a little bit, to use my foam roller a little bit on the legs or the back, and then I stretch, and then I start to warm up slowly, and then if I can, then I will hit for 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm ready to play. And and then when I'm in there and my opponent is giving me a hard time,
I just stop here as an umpire. We haven't said love all play. No, I'm just curious. Because you describe your physical warm-up. How is your mental warm-up and your tactical, not warm-up, but preparation?
Okay. Yes, of course. I actually have one ritual that I like to do, and that's listening to Beethoven Sonata 14.
Beethoven Sonata 14, yeah.
I don't think it could have been any songs, but it's just I heard that song, and then I won that tournament when I started to listen to it.
Yes.
But it's also because I wanted to meditate for 5 minutes, but I don't want anything with lyrics on.
Yeah.
Because then you can sing along and stuff, and it
no
can
vocals,
be hard to focus. So I found Beethoven Sonata 14. It is 5 minutes and 1 second or something like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I know that when that song is finished, then my meditating is finished. And I can do it. Sometimes I do it in the morning. Sometimes I do it 2 times. So then I do it in the morning, and then I do it while I'm starting to stretch. Or when I start the warm-up, I listen to the song for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I focus on the breathing. And every time I get a thought about something else, I detect it, and then I would return to the breathing. Because then I know if I can do that for 5 minutes, I have a baseline, and I feel that I can concentrate. Now my focus is on point. So this is like a mental warm-up for me before my match. So I know that I can be present for quite a while. But it's not too long, but it's also quite long sometimes when you can feel a bit stressed sometimes before a match.
Yeah.
But 5 minutes, you can always find time for that.
Yeah. Great.
And that's what I do. And regarding the game plan, I have tried something new the past since the team championship this year. I found out, because sometimes I have had a trouble to stick to the plan, and it has been because I have had. It has been a little bit unclear sometimes for me what the plan was. I like it quite specific. So I try now to get like 3 things, maybe 2 things that I should focus on against this opponent. And let's just say it was in Madrid I played last tournament. The shuttles were super fast, and the conditions were really hard to play in that hall. And the net was really important to get. So I had this talk with my coach, and the plan was to be quite high at the net if I could, and that would also mean that I had to play sometimes some softer shots to the net and be closer to the net than normally, and then be okay to do a late forehand or a late backhand instead of me jumping up all the time. I try to do that. And then also it could be, now I can't remember, but it could be also to variate the serve quite a lot, because then they not just go in and feel quite secure that and have a plan what to do in every start of the rally. Then I could control a little bit in the start of the rallies, because the serve return situations was also quite important.
Nice.
So that could be the 2 things that I should be focused about. And then I know that, and then we can always change some things during the match. It could be in while the match is going, that okay, now he is moving really a lot to the front. Now you have to use the lift a little bit more the next couple of rallies, and then I have maybe to go back to the close net. So, but for me, there was like 2 things in the start, and that would to take the net and try to be really hard the net and serve with variations. Then I don't have too much to think about, but
that's great.
All the other things comes natural.
Great. And then you already have shared with us that when the match is going on, that these are at your level and you're top 50, around top 50 in the world, that the match changes very often and the tactic is changed every second, third, fourth rally. So these adjustments are a part of it. What now? And you shared with us that you do this breathing meditation thing. And you mentioned in the beginning, 2 years ago, you evaluated almost every rally. What now when adversity hits you and you don't have the momentum, the opponent has the momentum? What's mental weapons, or what do you have in your mental toolbox to overcome these obstacles or difficult situations?
Yeah, well, I've talked with my mental coach about this, and sometimes we have came up with the 4 P's, and then we have 1 R, and it's like power, patience, precision, and then I know the R is relaxed, and then I can't remember the last P right now. But
okay.
So then then I have these kind of 5 things that I can use as a check. Okay, is it because I'm not precise enough? Is it because I use too much power? Sometimes it's the both. Because precision and power sometimes is hard. And then am I relaxed, or am I patient enough? So I have this. I can go in and check. Okay, it's this. It's this. And but otherwise, I try to really be present, because I know that if I'm present, then I give me the best opportunity to win the next rally, instead of thinking about everything else. That's also why I do this mental warm-up, because when I'm in the game, it's so easy. Sorry, it's so easy to think a lot and not being present, because there is so much going on all the time. What did I do? What did he do? But now when can detect my thoughts because I've practiced it outside the court and also at practice. Then I can go in and detect these thoughts and then reset before next rally, because then I give myself the best opportunity to be ready at the next rally and get the momentum.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
What I complimented you for before we started, and I will compliment you again, because we talked about the process is important, but also it's quite important to have a goal to aim for. And you have started, I would not say career, that's probably not what you would describe it, but you're on the social media with your Instagram and on TikTok. And I will compliment you because you help players who probably not does have the same level as you have, but what I would like to improve my badminton skill. And I think you have more than 135,000 followers on Instagram. That's a lot.
Yeah.
What's the story about that?
Yeah, well, I needed to get some sponsors, and my social media, I think I had got it in April, but it was not that interesting, and I didn't know why I couldn't get any sponsors. But then I found out from people that it was not the best social media I had, and because of that was what sponsors was looking for. And then during COVID, I had more time, and then I started to study a little bit how to get followers, and made it a little bit of a kind of a study, and also kind of a competition. How far could I take this?
Yeah.
Could I get 5,000 followers? And that was the goal at first, to get 5,000. And then I started to try different things on the social media, and I came up with the do's and don'ts because I saw a push-up video where it was a do's and don'ts video, how to take push-ups. And I thought, hey, you can do that in badminton as well.
Yeah, and it's really good.
I started to do those kind of videos, and I got more and more followers. And then I started as one of the first badminton players to use those reels there is on Instagram. And because I did that, and it was a new feature, I also get showed to a lot of badminton players out there on social media, because I used that feature of as one of the first. So I got, like, I don't know, that year I maybe got 60,000 followers in that year.
That's nice. Great.
Where the reels came, and I started to do the do's and don'ts videos more and more, and then the sponsors started to come, and now I have made it my brand. So I think it's a hobby next to badminton. It's I started to earn some money from it last year. So now it's started to be a hobby business. But
that's nice.
My badminton career is still the main focus, but it's nice to learn something new in a different area.
And still it's using your favorite competences as a very good world-class badminton player. So that's a really good business case. That's smart. You've done that. That's great, Mads. Mads, it's about time that we say thank you to our listeners today, but I still have a couple of questions to you, because we talked about this preparation, and I work with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And it's a question, I call it a tool to get the very best out from people or from myself. And I would like to ask you, before you go on court, or when you feel I'm just on top of my mental strength and my physics are good and I have the game plan, what is it that you see on your inner screen? And what is it that you feel? And what do you hear? So when you're performing at the very, very best. And there was 3 questions in one.
It's a tough question, because when I'm thinking about how I'm feeling and what I'm hearing and what I'm saying, and I'm afraid that I'm not gonna experience it in the future.
Yeah, that's
Because
good. Okay.
it's quite special when you hit that flow, that mindset where it's like everything you're doing is just like mechanical somehow. It's just you're just so present that you don't really pay attention to anything else than the shuttle and the opponent.
Mm.
And the body is just reacting almost by itself. Like it's the mind and the body is connected in a higher state at that time. It's like the mind is ahead of your opponent, but the body is also ready to be ready for those next two steps that you are in front. So
Mm.
when I play this shot, I'm thinking I'm playing it to get it here the next time, and then my body is like ready for that as well. So it's like it's just my body and mind is in a high state, and I don't really say something at that time, and I don't really hear anything else than when he's hitting the shuttle or
Mm.
when I'm hitting the shuttle. And yeah, it's just sometimes you can really be in a kind of state that you can't really remember what happened
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
you was so present.
Mm.
And it's really you're getting really addicted to that feeling. Actually, it's something you try to get every time you play, but it's
Mm.
so damn hard to find. But I feel that I found a way to get it more often and often as older I'm getting.
Mm.
Also, I get more and more mental tools to tap into that flow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something special, and I hope that everyone is. Yeah, the best way I can describe it not to play is when you're reading a good book and you just get lost in that book. You
Mm.
just you're just living that book in that moment, and then you can almost eat that book in one day.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a flow for me also.
Mm. But when you describe it, because I have some other guests who says this that my mind and body are just one, and
Mm.
then we talked about being Superman before that. That Superman has this ability to look into the opponent's mind, and I can foresee that I do this stroke and then I
Mm.
move there because I know already it comes there. And some describe it as I experience the match being played in slow motion
Mm.
because in that way I know already what to do next because
Mm.
and you mentioned this that my mind is ahead of my body.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. And also some you mentioned this there's actually no sounds, so it's make perfect sense for some people. It's not
Mm.
necessary or there are no sounds because
Yeah.
I'm in flow or in the zone or whatever we call it. Yeah. Mm, that's good. Thank you, Mads.
Yeah.
We have to let the listeners go. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And I just wonder, have you something here at the end you would like to share with our listeners to say, remember this, dear friends, besides, because I write that in show notes, you have to follow Mads on Instagram or on TikTok, Mads Christophersen. I think you need to see that on paper, unless you know Mads very well and his name. Are there anything else you would like to share with the listeners that you think this is very important
Uh,
we haven't been talking about?
yeah. Well, I hope that's also why I'm doing the Instagram is to inspire people, and I hope that I can be inspiration for some people. That it's not because you have to be so talented at when you're young and stuff, and at and you don't have to hear from other people that oh he's gonna be the next one and stuff like that. Uh, the important thing is that if you really have a dream about, yeah, something, then go for it. And if you put in the work, I'm sure that someday you will reach your dream. And I hope that I can be that kind of inspiration, because I feel that there was no one talking about that I would go into the national center or win a team championship, in the European team championship, or win a Super 100. And yeah, I'm still talking with my colleagues in Brøndby, and when Lisinghus, he was in there, he coached me when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And he said, I had never thought that you would get in here and practice with me. And I was in there and practicing with Lisinghus and all the good guys. So it can happen also if you're not the best when you're young. So just keep fighting and try to do what me and Bjarne has talked about so far. Then I think you will get close to it, if not reach it.
That's the good way to stop this episode of Mental Winner. Who would you like me to invite into a talk about being mental strong, Mads? Now I give you the chance.
Maybe I know some people now, because I get in Team Denmark. Then I know some people from there. There is doing other sports, and there is this guy. I don't know him that much, but sometimes I talk with him. But he's a triathlete called Magnus Ditlevsen.
Magnus Ditlevsen, like yes.
I think that's his name. And he is our best triathlete. I think he won the world championship, actually.
Yeah.
In triathlon. I would really love to hear his side of how it is to be a mental winner, because his sports is not like mine.
No.
So I can imagine that he's thinking in some different ways, and maybe I can learn something from him. And hopefully I can do that, and hopefully everyone can learn something new from him. So if he has the time and want to do that, I think he could be a good guest.
Perfect. It's written down his name. Thank you, Mads. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for sharing your knowledge and your tips to the people out there who want to become mental stronger. And to you, dear listener, this was this week's episode. Next week, we do it again. Hope to see you, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. Denne uges episode af Mental Vinder er blevet til i samarbejde med min samarbejdspartner Yonex og Yonex Scandinavia. Du kan finde Yonex Scandinavia på Facebook eller Instagram og følge med i livet hos deres atleter, som også, ligesom jeg, foretrækker at bruge Yonex' rekvisitter til at optimere deres præstation i deres catcher-sport.